morning. I'm Charlotte Jones, co-host of the John Telford Detroit Show, coming to you every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock on Wjzz Cool Tv. Also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Dr. John Telford is a former Detroit Public Schools superintendent, a former world-class athlete, conqueror of Olympic champions, a championship track coach, poet, newspaper columnist, a longtime civil rights crusader, and author of 7 books: Creative Insubordination, What Old Men Know, The Will Robinson Story, The Poetic Prancings of Mad John, The Poet Emperor of Earth, and his explosive autobiography, A Life on the Run. Plus, another upcoming poetry book, Athletes, Activism, and Apple Boughs, a Detroit poetic epic. His books are available on Amazon.com or by calling 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272. Dr. Telford has been called a legend and also a lightning rod for controversy, a recipient of the City Council's Spirit of Detroit Award and the Joe Louis Foundation Spirit of the Champ Award. He was named Wayne State University's Alumnus of the Year, and a Detroit track is named for him. His email is drjohntelfordedd@aol.com. That's dr.johntelfordedd@aol.com. Dr. Telford also has a show on WCHB AM 1340 that airs on Saturdays at 9:30 in the morning and Mondays at 6:30 in the evening. That's on WCHB AM 1340, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Mondays at 6:30 p.m. And now, without further ado, I present to you that old native Detroiter, the one and only Dr. John Telford.
Thank you, Char J., author of A Ain't Always for Apple.
You're welcome.
A Ain't Always for Apple, an erotic adult alphabet book. A Ain't Always for Apple. And you know, this book is going to sell like hotcakes if you can never get a damn manager.
I know.
Char, you know. My name is Detroit. I'm a blue-collar town. Blue salt melts my mid-March snow. Speedy cars and sprinters spring from me. I father fierce fighters and funky music. In a Motown moment, I can spit the blues right back in a bureaucrat's eye. Have you never seen blue salt? No complex chemistry here, only the old color of a new sky. And there's a new sky dawning on Detroit today because we have got Police Commissioner Willie Burton in the studio today. And Char and I are going to be interviewing Willie after, well, and you know what? I'm going to read a poem that reminds me of many of the guests that I've had on this show, and it reminds me also of Willie Burton, particularly of Willie Burton. And the title of the poem is The Values of Verse. Verse comes to us by pen or voice. We thus can always take our choice. Let me be also sure to mention that verse will gain us righteous vengeance via deft poetic arts that can topple oligarchs. Verse will clearly, plainly lay out what we poets dare to say out, like gentle, mewling lambs no more, but rather with a fearsome roar, as from some cacophonic corps of lions. And we've got a lion in the studio today in the person of Police Commissioner Willie Burton, because Police Commissioner Willie Burton has been the conscience of the Police Commission. Too many commissioners have been kind of going along to get along, but not Willie. You know, Willie tells it the way it is, whether it's the way that the politicians want it to be, or whether it's the right and righteous way. So, Willie, before I welcome you to the John Telford Detroit show this morning with Char J, Charlotte Jones, I also want to call for prayers for Joanne Watson. Joanne Watson. We lost the great social activist Joanne Watson in a very untimely moment when we needed her the most. So pray for Joanne Watson. And also pray for a young lady named Winter Cole Smith. Winter Cole Smith was murdered by a 26-year-old man whom his girlfriend broke up with, and she didn't want to be with him anymore. This was in Lansing. So what this man did, this poor excuse for a man, he kidnapped her 2-year-old daughter. Her 2-year-old daughter, her little 2-year-old daughter, drove her to Detroit, killed her, and left her poor little pathetic body in an alley on the east side of Detroit. And you know, my good buddy, the old NFL linebacker Blaine Smith, said, you know, these racist cops are also always killing black men. But for some reason or other, they didn't kill this guy. You know, and on this occasion, I would have supported them just shooting him down dead like a dog in the alley, you know?
What I don't understand is when they go to prison, when these people that do stuff to children, I don't understand the prison system, or the inmates, but for some reason they seem to take offense to anybody that does anything to a child. So he probably won't.
Oh, they'll get him. They'll get him in prison.
You know, apparently they got.
Oh yeah,
Nassar.
Nassar. Yeah, they just stabbed him about 20
took
times.
Him a while,
yeah,
they got him.
They got to him.
So I'm not sure how he's doing. I heard he was in stable condition, and you know, you hate to say these things, but hey, you did what you did. You got what you got. So.
Yeah, well, the same thing will happen to this guy probably if they don't put him in isolation, because just killing a 2-year-old girl. I mean, come on. I mean, what kind of a creature does that?
And he put thought in it, because I heard him and her have a child together. And if he was killing everybody, then I'm not saying why didn't he kill his child too?
This was not his child.
Right, he did that to hurt her specifically.
That's what he did. And, you know, I am against capital punishment on principle, excepting in the case of Donald Trump. You know, I make an exception for him. But with this situation, I think I might tend to agree with my buddy Blaine Smith, the old NFL linebacker. But we've got Willie Burton, Police Commissioner Willie Burton, on the John Telford Detroit show on WJZZ in the studio today, in the WJZZ studio. So, Willie, welcome to the John Telford Detroit show.
Thank you, Dr. John Telford. Thank you, Ms. Jones. It's great to be here in the studio today. It's been a while, but I love the new location, and I listen to your show all the time, and so I'm excited to be here this morning.
Well, we're excited to have you, because you've been doing yeoman work with that police commission, and I hate to say it, but you're just about the only one on there that's doing it. So we got to get a few other like-minded people that don't compromise with the politicians. But tell us a little bit about your background and about yourself before we ask you some specific questions about police commission business.
Sure. You know, I was raised right here on the east side of Detroit, born and raised. I graduated from Kettering High School, proud alumni. This year, my classmates we're celebrating 25 years.
Wow.
So I'd be glad, I'm so glad to be able to see so many of them this year. Kettering having an all-year class reunion. I believe it's the second Saturday in August. So I'm going to be right up there on that field, and I'm going to be hugging some of my old teammates, some of some of the people that I've gone to school with, and we're going to catch up, and we're going to eat. We're going to eat some good food, and just remember some of those great happy memories.
Teammates, what sport?
I actually played football, but I was also on a baseball team, and I was captain of the swim team for 3 years. That was at a time. That was at a time I was 165 pounds, but
165 pounds.
Now I'm in a 300 club.
You can play football now too if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, the Detroit Lions, waiting for a contract.
What's that other one? The league that just the UFL. You could have played for them.
Yeah, Panthers, Michigan Panthers.
If the Detroit Lions offer me a 1-day contract, I'll suit up.
1 day.
Yeah, well, I'll pass on that. That sport hurts your back. You played in college too, didn't you?
Yes, I played for Urbana University, and then later on went on down to Central State.
Central State? You played for Central State? Yeah, it used to be Wilberforce.
Yes.
Then it became Central State. Well, Willie
had great times there too.
I'll bet. Yeah, we all had great times in college. I was Wayne State track, not football, but track.
If the Lions give me a call, please call me. I will help you win one game.
Oh, I think the Lions are going to win plenty of games this coming year, particularly that running back they got. I think
they actually got some nice young legs.
Guy does 40 and 4.3.
Those guys running like you say 4.3.
Yeah,
I mean that's smoking.
Yeah. Yeah, I did 4.4 at Denby and 4.5 at Northwestern, but these guys are running 4.3, and that's
so. At my age, I'm just a fan of the sport, so I'll be sitting back. This year, I'm going to be rooting for the Lions, eating popcorn, and praying for them to win some ball games.
Well, you've been on the board of police commissioners for quite a while. What year did you get elected to the board of police commissioners?
Dr. Talford, it was 2013. This year makes a decade, and so I have seen a lot of ups and downs, but more importantly, I've been hearing the people's voices that plug into those meetings, and I think that's the key to being a great public servant, is to always listen to your constituents.
Is it time to run again?
We won't have to run into 2025, but it's always time to listen to the voters, always time to listen to those that have concerns about oversight. It's always time to be able to help your neighbors when they're going through a situation. And right now, Detroiters are in pain, and they want answers.
Not just Detroiters. I think majority of the state that's not in the Wayne County. Let's just say Wayne County.
Yes. Yes.
Why do you say Detroiters are in pain?
I just looked at the news the other day, and they was talking about a young 2-year-old girl, Winter. You just mentioned her name here on your show.
Winter Cole Smith.
And when you hear something like that, it has an effect on your community. And so when a mother is grieving, so does the community.
But they came from Lansing, was it? He came.
Yeah, from Lansing.
Okay,
he stabbed her in the face 15 times. 15 times and grabbed her daughter.
Why did he come to Detroit? Did he have people? If he had people here or anything, or?
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's just
Left her in an alley on the east side.
Like, so to me, he had to know the area. I believe he knew the area, because that's kind of the area where they found her is kind of abandoned-ish, a little bit. I'm surprised they found her in that area. It was near City Airport, and depending, some areas are still populated, but that area where he was, I think it was by Irwin, it's not that much back there. So
you know, when you turn on the news, you know, you hear about so much killing, you know, in our city, and the community want to know, what are we going to do, from law enforcement, from the Board of Police Commissioners, from the city ombudsman's office, from city council, and even with your state legislators. What are we going to do to help reduce crime? And I you know, one of the things I believe in, we need to be able to be more visible in the community. We need to have more community conversations. We always need to be pushing public safety, but also working closely with our community, showing them how to report out on crime. If something stands out, how do you document that? Where can you take that information that can turn into a lead that can later become an arrest?
Are people telling, because you know the old saying, snitches get stitches, are people speaking up?
You know, if you look at 911 calls over the years, you know, people's not reporting out on crime like they used to do in the 90s. And so, you know, if you look at those calls, you know, from the 911 call center from the 90s compared to today, those calls are way down. So we need the community to, you know, open up your eyes, be an effective listener. You see something, you hear something, call 911, call 1-800-SPEAK UP.
I think back
And it
in
can
the
help save a life.
70s, you know, we all had that nosy neighbor, quote unquote, nosy neighbor.
Yeah.
And everybody knew if you was going to do something, you didn't do it in front of her house. You go over here, because she was going to tell.
Yes.
So I think that kind of kept stuff down. So maybe we need, you know, because that saying snitches get stitches wasn't back in the 70s. They didn't start that till the 90s and when rap became prevalent. So I'm thinking that we need to get back to that nosy neighbor.
We gotta get back to having concerned residents in our community, and when you know, when you hear something outside of your home, go to the window, go to the door, listen out. If you see, if you can make out a description, a license plate, maker or model of a car, or you know what type of clothing that they were wearing, all that information is very important because it can save a life.
Well, you know, you mentioned the legislature.
Yes.
The Michigan legislature, the Republicans in the Michigan legislature have totally sold out. I mean, I almost can't believe that I guess I can believe it. They just endorsed a criminal for president.
Wow.
And you know who that criminal is? They endorsed Donald Trump. Donald Trump belongs in prison. He does not belong in the White House. And you know, he may end up getting there. But, I'm ashamed of my fellow Michiganians who are Republicans in the state legislature who, couldn't they just for once say, hey, wait a minute. We're gonna have to endorse the other guy because he's the voice of reason. He's the voice of justice. We can't endorse a man who has clearly committed treasonous acts in plain daylight, and is under. Well, go ahead, Willie.
You know, Dr. Telford. You know, it's sad. You know, when we look at the ballot and you have to make a decision on who we want to represent our community, and so once again we have to be able to have more coffee table conversations about who's going to be the best fit. Detroit is a Democratic town. Michigan is a Democratic town. But, Michigan has always flipped at times where you may have a couple of turns of a Democrat governor and then you turn around and you look up, and next time you have a Republican governor. You know, that's how we ended up with Rick Snyder. And so we just have to get people to come out and vote in droves.
So we ended up with Engler too, and those were two bad governors as far as I'm concerned.
I'm sorry, John. A lot of people believe that their vote doesn't count, so that's why they won't.
And that's
well, we got to get the vote out in Detroit.
That's
I mean, it's
why we
less than 20%. That's a total disgrace. And if that happens in 2024, we got trouble. Detroit has got to get everyone who is qualified to vote at the polls. If we got to get buses at the churches, if we got to bus people to the polls, whatever we have to do to make sure that Trump does not get in the White House again.
Have to put something on the ballot that they care about. I think we had a large turnout when voting for weed was on the ballot.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they came out in droves. Oh, we're
Yes.
gonna get weed legalized.
So it goes back to, you know, issues that, you know, that matters to people, you know, and so depending on what those issues happens to be that's printed on the ballot, that's going to drive people out, like you said, Ms. Jones. But you know, we have to be very selective or who we have represent us. You know, do we want to have someone who has, you know, indictments, you know, been indicted to be representing this country as the commander-in-chief? Do we want someone on the city council, you know, just to bring it back locally, that has been indicted, serving on the council, or someone who in the county commission, you know, for instance, that have, you know, some outstanding, you know, allegations and things of that nature? Do we want them in local government? You know, this, you know, when we vote for candidates that's going to best service our community, we want someone who's going to go in on day one and get the job done. But it should never be a question about what they have, you know, about different things that they have done or have not done, because what it does, it put the focus there instead of putting the focus on doing the work. And so if you got someone that's involved in you know, different investigations, then it's best that that person or persons not run for office, focus on cleaning up their life, and focus on finding something else to do with their time. In public office for Donald Trump, just
well, I'm a lifelong Democrat.
Just
you know, guilty as charged. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and we've had some decent Republican governors.
Yes.
You know, we've had Gerald Ford, we've had Bill Milliken, but these Republicans in the Michigan legislature now, they're by endorsing Trump, they're not Republicans, they're Retrumplicans. That's what I call them on both of my shows, this one and my WCHB show. I find this very, very scary. You know, when I think back, I had 4 uncles in World War II, and I like to talk. They all came home. None of them got killed over there, although my neighbor did get killed on the beach in Normandy. He was 19 years old. But those men were willing to sacrifice their lives for our democracy. And here now we've got these Trumplicans in Congress who are just ready to turn the country over to fascists, to racists, without a shot being fired. And that just really scares me. And I think there's a decent chance it could happen if this Manchin runs as a third party. If he takes Trump money to run, and he'll take some votes from Biden, and Trump could end up becoming president in prison, and then pardoning himself and all these other criminals and let them. It sounds like a pipe dream, but it's a very real possibility, and it's very frightening.
Well, first
Think about the Weimar Republic. You remember 1933?
John,
I mean,
no.
Well, I don't either. But I was born in the 1930s.
I gotta go to an almanac, girl.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about the Weimar Republic. It was in Germany. It was a democracy. It was a democracy, and a man named Adolf Hitler ran legitimately for office, and then the Nazi Party took over, and 600 Jews got killed, and untold people in the war on both sides.
His
Don't think it can't happen here
his
again.
basic principle, other than killing people and one race and stuff like that, the way he was trying to build up the community was not a bad idea. However, the way he went about it was wrong.
Who you talking about?
Hitler, he had,
Oh, man.
he had good ideas.
Oh,
on
no,
one
no, no.
side.
Hitler never had a damn
No,
good
no,
idea
no.
in his
I'm
life.
talking about the economy part, not the killing people and the racism. And no, I don't ever think that I'm saying that, because I'm not saying that. But economically, he had a couple of them, not a whole lot. If you look at it, he had some good business points, but not the way. No.
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 80 knows. Anyway, let's get back to Willie. Willie, what inspired you to be a public servant? What was your motivation and inspiration to do that?
Well, when I was growing up on the east side of Detroit, I recall being a student at Stevens Elementary School.
Oh yeah.
And so I was in the first and second grade. Our teacher asked us, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, I wanted to be the mayor.
No, that's an idea.
So
Hey, we're gonna run this guy for mayor. Maybe not right away. You guys think I'm joking?
Dr. Telford
How
tried to
old are
draft me.
you? How old are you?
so
This guy's in his 40s. I mean,
I'm in my early 40s.
yeah,
but-
he's got his whole career yet in front of him.
So I said I wanted to be the mayor, and so my classmates, they said they want to be doctors, they want to be lawyers. One of them said they want to be a policeman. So one said they want to be a fireman, and so all of these are great professions. But
I wanted to be a race car driver.
You wanted to be a race car driver.
Yeah, so I wanted to be.
I was always fascinated with those fast cars and and the advertisement and stuff like that. But I didn't want to be a race car driver. I wanted to be a politician. I wanted to be a public servant more than anything. And so, years later, I was able to find my calling in public service and get elected as the youngest police commissioner in the country.
What did you do before that?
I consulted on a lot of different political campaigns, and I was able to roll my sleeves up in.
But you're still doing that, aren't you? Consulting.
No, still doing consulting, but the first campaign I worked on was actually Sharon McPhail.
Oh,
when
yeah.
she first ran.
Good lady.
Yes. And so this was
I like her.
This was in the 90s. I actually worked
For
on
what was she running for? Because she ran for everything but dog catcher. No.
She was on the council.
She was on council.
What was her first? She ran for mayor, council. What else she ran for? She ran for everything.
She ran a charter school too. One of the few charter schools that actually was graduating kids and putting them in college. I mean, she did a good job in that regard. And I am not in charter, support of charter schools by any means. But
so when she
ran a
in
good
the
one.
90s, that was my first campaign, and I rolled my sleeves up. I was in high school, and I said, you know what, I can do this someday, right? But it goes back to watching Coleman Young, Mayor Coleman Young.
Oh yeah.
Here it is. He's an African American man, black man in Detroit.
Yeah.
Very vocal.
Oh yeah.
He spoke his mind.
Did he ever?
Yeah.
And so I look up now. I said to myself, it goes back to what you said. There's two roads you can take.
Two roads, yeah. Two. That's the old poem, by Robert Frost.
Yes.
Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. I looked down one as far as I could to where it parted in the undergrowth. And those two roads, one's a rocky road,
Yes.
and the other one's the easy road.
Yes.
The rocky road is the right road to take, but you're going to suffer if you take that road. And there are many of us that took the other road, and few of us that took the rocky road. But, you know, if you take the rocky road, you're going to have diversity, you're going to have politicians fighting you at every turn, but you're going to be able to look in the mirror, and you're going to be able to face your fellow activists.
You know, the road I ended up taking was stand up for what you believe in, stand
Amen.
up for democracy, be a defender of democracy at all costs, speak, speak for the people, represent the people, be a great servant, and that's the man that I wanted to be.
And this guy's paid the price for it too. You know, this has got to be known. And a lot of people remember. You know, I think it was that issue about facial recognition.
Yes.
Wasn't that the one that these policemen beat you down right on in a damn meeting?
Well, they used the Gestapo tactic.
Yeah, right.
That
was
know,
a good.
In the board's, in the board meeting,
and he was a police commissioner when they did that to him.
Yeah.
That was my first recognizing you and saying to myself, you know, this guy has got to be upheld and defended because, you know, it seems like you've been the only one on there that have been their conscience. You know, I hope some of them will grow some balls, okay?
We got a few others that's starting to be more vocal, but, you know, it goes back to the two roads. Do you want to take this easy road and just sit there and be a rubber stamp? Or do you want to be the guy...
Yeah, like the Detroit School Board that we got right now.
All right.
And like this board at the River House that we got right now, and I could talk about that too.
Or do you want to be vocal on issues? Have that conversation on how do we get here? And how do we move forward as a voting body, as a community? But we can never be in appendage to the mayor or to the chief.
We have to stand
on
your own.
We have to stand for liberty.
Right.
We have to stand for justice. And when you got those two ingredients together, we have something called the United States. We have something called freedom.
Yeah.
We have something called the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
We have something called the United States Constitution.
You're watching Wjzz Cool TV, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like us, follow us, share us, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV. It's the coolest station in the world. We've got the WJZZ Legacy Jazz Series tomorrow, July 13th, Thursday from 7 to 9. It's the Matt LaRusso Trio. Tickets are 2 for 1. They've got special guest vocalist Taylor Smith. And this one is our event. Our venue has changed. We're at the Aretha Jazz Cafe at 350 Madison in Detroit. Then we've got the Sunday, the 16th, we've got the 28th Annual Michigan Jazz Festival at the Vista Tech Center Schoolcraft College in Livonia. It's all jazz, live and in person, with over 35 bands across 6 stages, all day long and all free. It features the best Michigan jazz museums. We've got parking, free parking, air-conditioned comfort, great food, Schoolcraft College award-winning craft beer. It starts at noon, and then they've got jazz clinics that begin at 10:30. For information, visit MichiganJazzFestival.org. Then we've got the summer concert series at Recovery Park at 54070 Shane. We've got Larry Lee and the Back in the Day Band. That's the 22nd. We've got Brandon Rose and Soul Therapy on July 29th. And Trifocal Saturday, August 5th. So you can reach out to Recovery Park on their Facebook page for more information. What do you have, John?
And why do they call it Recovery Park, and who is running it?
Recovery Park is ran by Gary. That's who runs the Recovery Park. Recovery Park is a reintroducing felons and drug people who suffer with drugs back into society, and they run a farm which is ran by Clinton Borders, or Recovery Park Farms, and they help integrate felons and former drug users back into the community with jobs and help to get themselves together. So these concerts help benefit that program. So might want to check it out.
Yeah, and also let me say this. Miss Virginia Starkey, fondly known simply as V, the proprietress of V's Boutique, offers a wide range of fine clothing and accessories for ladies. You can find all sizes of women's fine apparel in V's one-stop excellent customer service at V's Boutique that you can't find anywhere else in Detroit anymore. And V's Boutique is at 16423 East Warren Avenue. 16423 East Warren Avenue, right around the corner from the old Alger Theater and right around the corner from one of the few libraries that's still open in the city.
All right, I've got one more thing.
Okay.
Reverend Hood has at his church on Sundays at 11 a.m. there's a food ministry. They pass out food to people in the community. You don't have to be involved in that community or anything or go to that church. They pass out fresh produce and meat and dairy from Trader Joe's every Sunday at 11 a.m. Well, people start to line up at 11 a.m., but they don't start passing out the food until about 11:30. So if you want to come out, it's nutritious, healthy food. It's free. That's Plymouth United Methodist. It's at 600 East Warren, corner of Warren and St. Antoine. So come down on every Sunday and get free food.
Yeah, that's Nick Hood. I go way back with Nick Hood.
So to my brothers and sisters that listen, and if you have a mother in your life, and to my brothers, if you have a special lady in your life, Miss V has some nice one-of-a-kinds of items that would look great on your mother or your special lady in your life.
I shop there all
every time I see Lady V, every I'm like, that looks nice on you or whatever. But more importantly, she gets a lot of compliments everywhere she goes, and it's because of the unique, items that she has, and they are one of a kind. And I'm like, you know what? I need to stop in there and I need to pick up something from Mom's. So I'm looking to go shop in there and bringing my mom down so my mom can be able to pick out some things she like.
And she's got a new phone again. She's always getting new phones for a variety of reasons. Yeah, it's a 313 area code. I'm trying to remember it. It's 801-0131. 801-0131 is
so
a new phone.
She got a new phone like yesterday, or
she just got it. Yeah, you can make an appointment now by calling that number. Actually, there isn't any answering machine yet, so you just gotta try to hope she'll answer the phone. I'm telling her, V, get an answering
because
machine.
the phone was messed up, and I had an event and I needed an outfit and I couldn't get to her. I was like, John, where is she? Where is she?
I know. Yeah, man.
Luckily, I didn't go to that event, so I was panicked.
Anyway, we are interviewing Willie. We're interviewing Police Commissioner Willie, and I want to, because we got some questions I want to get to. What challenges do you see when you're performing your police oversight duties, Police Commissioner Willie Burton?
One of the biggest challenges that we have right now is when the Board of Police Commissioners, when we ask for something from the department, we don't always get it in a timely manner. So that has to change in order for us to be more effective in our work as commissioners, providing oversight of the department.
So you're not actually part of the police force.
No, the Board of Police.
He carries a badge, but it's not. He's not actually a policeman.
Okay.
He makes sure that the police do their job and treat the citizens fairly. It's oversight, and sometimes there isn't good enough oversight on the part of some of the commissioners, and that's why this guy is. I call him the conscience of the police commission. And we need a couple more of them there that have consciences, is the way I see it. But
How many people on the board?
So right now we have 11 commissioners. 7 of us are elected by districts, and then you have the mayor gets to appoint 4, but he also gets to appoint to a vacancy if a vacancy comes available. And that's another problem too, when you got the mayor appointees voting together as a block, and then you pick 1 or 2 coming from the elected, and so I believe every commissioner that serve on this board ought to be elected. I'm elected, and and my powers come from the people, the residents, and also fulfill our obligations accordingly. That empowers us, which is the Detroit City Charter. But there are some things in the charter that needs to change, and it needs to be, instead of having 7 of us elected by districts, you can have those 4 that the mayor appoints. You can have those elected at large or something of that nature. So you can have 4 at large, and then you can have 7 by district. But the charter does not speak to at large.
How many districts are there?
There's 7 districts. I represent the 5th district, which has Belle Isle, the Motown Museum, the Rights Museum.
It's a large area.
Yes, and have the Riverwalk, the Derquinder Cut. Just to name some different landmarks. But communities, you have Boston Edison, Indian Village, West Village, New Center area, Lafayette Park. Indian Village, West Village, and even the neighborhoods and stuff in between. It's a very widespread district, and it's been great serving in that community for a decade, and I feel like I've been serving a lot longer. Because I ran for office 7 times before I was able to get elected, but but I learned the value of lacing up my shoes, and I learned the value of keeping my word, and I learned the value of a strong, firm handshake, and so I those are 3 ingredients that can carry you from this table to a higher office, but you have to also be an effective listener, and I think if the city council can try that. Some of those people that's on that board, if they can just do that, then we can really move forward as a city.
yeah, and you're in my district too, because I live in the 5th district. I live
Yes.
at the River House, and I've talked about that a lot. But our
I drunk many insurers at your place.
That's right. A lot of yeah,
And
yeah. So keep me alive, Insurers and whiskey. Those are two things that are keeping me alive.
Dr. Chalmer,
and
he offered me. He said, do you care for a beer, or do you care for an insurer? He said, but you are the police commissioner. We need to keep you around a little longer. I recommend you take the insurer.
Yeah,
I had the insurer. The insurer was really good. I actually felt a burst of energy.
Really?
That's what. Yeah. I have it in place of a meal. Sometimes I could be almost 88 years old. I got to do something to stay upright, But
and then he broke out his book called Life on the Run.
Oh yeah.
He says he wrote some nice kind words. He says something about you are dependable. Then he says, not yet, but these are the things I want you to be or something.
Yeah, I'm always giving them advice. I'm trying to improve them. I'm not going to say what the advice is, but I'm always doing that. But our council person, of course, is Mary Sheffield.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get Mary Sheffield and also Lauren Hood to put Toino Reeves on the reparations task force.
Good people.
Yeah, it was Larry Hightower that had that idea. So he got to me and he got to Keith Williams. Keith Williams wasn't receptive.
Reeves is very smart. I mean, he understands economics. He understands the community.
Oh no, we got to get him on there.
I mean, you talking about one of those bright minds, man. Wjzz, if you listening, I have to sit down with you for coffee. I love to pick your brain for 15 minutes. How can I get on your calendar?
Well, Keith Williams is opposing white people on the commission for some racist reason that I'm not going to go into here. But I wrote a poem called "A Debt Unpaid," and I just wrote it, and I'm going to share it again. America's debt remains unpaid yet, since American slaves have lain long in their graves. Reparations are now due from me and all of you. And the you I'm talking about and the me I'm talking about are people with white faces. Because, we were born into white privilege. We didn't ask to be born into white privilege, but we were. Just as black folks were born, as descendants of American slaves. And they didn't ask for that to happen either. But one thing that they can make happen is all of us to get together. Not just black, not just white, but black and white. And this is what Keith Williams doesn't seem to accept or understand.
But John, see, this is the thing. I read all the emails that you.
Yeah, I know. I've been sending them out like bullets.
Even though you two may think that that's a brilliant man, and he may very well be.
He is.
But if they don't want him,
no, they're going to want him.
You can't make them do that.
Oh, yes,
John.
I can.
No, you
yes, I can.
can't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
can.
can't.
Yes, I can.
And
Yes, I
I
can.
think
Yes, I
you're
can.
wrong in trying to force your opinion on people that don't.
Yeah, it
want
ain't an opinion.
it is. It
Well,
is. That's your opinion.
Do you believe that black and white people should work together?
I do, but that don't mean that guy is the guy for them to work with. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he
that
is.
Don't mean, no, he's not.
Yeah,
you
he
think
is.
He's brilliant, and
No,
you may think he's
I know he's brilliant.
but I don't.
Well,
and other people I know don't think he's brilliant.
Well, he is.
But if they don't want him, you can't force them, and that's the bottom line.
Well, believe me.
That you brought out. There were so many emails of people, prominent black people, who got offended by the things that you said.
No,
yes,
no,
they did.
no.
Yes, they did.
Well, you didn't see the ones of the people that were supporting him.
I saw two. And
Well, you want me to send you some more?
I get every email.
Okay, listen, I'll send you some more. I'll send you Greg Thrasher. I'll send you
every email that you got.
This is not. That's not what this is about today.
It is. They don't,
no, it's not about
no,
this.
But you're going to try to make it about that. You brought
Oh
it
yeah,
up.
no, he's going on the commission.
You brought it up, so we're talking about it.
No, he's going on that task force.
You're watching the Dr. John Telford Detroit Show live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. You have anything to say to sum it up?
No, there's one thing I want to ask him before he sums it up.
Well, that's going to be it because
okay. Because we didn't ask. I didn't ask this question. What are some policies that the Board of Police Commission has approved?
You got 1 minute.
One of the policies that we approved some time ago was having our offices fitted into body-worn cameras. That was something we voted on in 2016. 2017, all of our officers across the city was fitted with body-worn cameras. We do have a body-worn camera policy. I'm looking at right now with my colleagues on reviewing that policy. Right now, I just read an article that was alarming that a lot of our officers are not not turning those cameras on. And so we do have a policy, and it does have language in there where the camera has to be on at all times.
All right. That is going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the John Telford Detroit Show with Dr. John Telford and co-host Charlotte Jones on WJZZ Detroit Internet Television, coming to you live every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Contact Dr. Telford at 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272. Or at Dr. John Telford, EDD, at AOL.com. That's DRJOHNTELFORDEDD at AOL.com. To sponsor or appear on this show, or to get signed copies of his book, which Hill Perkins, Jeffrey Feiger, and Dr. Wayne Dyer all call spellbinding and sensational. It was the late, great Dr. Wayne Dyer who said, Dr. John Telford has a warrior's heart and a poet's soul. Read Dr. Telford's commentaries on the schools and other vital topics in the Telford Telescope column in the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. And also hear him on his other station, WCHB AM 1340, every Saturday morning at 9:30 and Monday evening at 6:30. That's every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. and Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. on WCHB AM 1340. Tune in again next Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock to the John